The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle. I'm Nico Haan. This is my cohort here, Paige Clarke, and we are definitely living a primal lifestyle.
And happy Friday, everyone.
Yeah, indeed. It's 55 degrees here in downtown Clearwater. Beautiful day. It's sunny but crisp. I got my coat with me.
Yeah, I got my little wrap going on today.
I know. You look so cool.
And we're having fun in the chat room. For those of you who know, I'm kind of beaming because any moment, day, I'm going to have my first grandbaby. In fact, my daughter had a couple signs this morning.
Cool.
And so who knows? Maybe by the time I talk to you, I will be a grandma.
And that's something.
So
that's a milestone.
No,
that's a milestone.
I'm excited. I'm really excited. It's going to be a grandson. And so I got it out there, guys. Any ideas? Because I don't want to be called grandma.
Okay.
Because, this is the truth, though. Grandbabies are going to call you what they want to call you. But, the manipulative grandmother's going to say, Nani loves you, Mama loves you, Oma loves you. I just can't see the grandma word. I don't know why. It's just sort of hard.
Well,
so any ideas, guys?
My grandkids call me Grandpa.
They do.
Yeah, and I don't know what my great-grandkids call me, actually. They're actually too small, I guess, to call me anything right now.
That's pretty amazing to think you're a great-grandpa.
Yeah, I know. I love it.
So listen, this is the thing. Whatever he calls me, it's like Mae West said, I don't care what you call me as long as you call me.
Yeah.
But,
I love it.
But, if any of you guys have any ideas.
Yeah.
So.
And in Holland, it would be Oma.
So, if I'm not here next week, why.
You better be here.
Well,
What am I going to do alone?
Well, no,
Okay.
I'll be here.
I can handle it, believe me.
Hey, we appreciate you guys' questions. We got a question you wanted to go over this section?
This guy, William Lim, emailed me a couple of times, and I'm sorry I didn't get to it last week. We were just so enthralled of what we were talking about, and I just kind of skipped it. But he has a letter. Why don't you read the letter?
Let me read you the letter because it kind of comes back, and we can then cover the points and reiterate again. His question was about bulletproof coffee, also known on this station as Tiger Brew.
Exactly.
All right? And let me just preface this before I read the letter. We drink other things than coffee. We drink green drinks. We drink live drinks. But what we're trying to do is help you see how something that America has kind of built a standard on, help to make it something healthy. And the evidence is out there that it's perfectly healthy.
Yes, indeed.
And so William's letter has asked us, Dear Nico, if possible, please kindly tell us more about bulletproof coffee on your show. This coffee was introduced to me by my friend who is a bodybuilder and was an MMA fighter. My wife and I have been trying it for about 2 weeks. We bought the highest quality coffee beans, Kerrygold grass-fed butter, and MCT 95% coconut oil from Central Market and Whole Foods. So far, we love it. I am more alert, focused, and have more energy during the whole day of trading. However, when I recommend this coffee to my friends, they were very concerned about adding the butter in their coffee due to high fat content. How often do we hear this?
Yeah, we hear this all the time.
I told them our bodies need good types of fat. Please kindly elaborate more on your show. So we are going to elaborate on that because this I run into all the time with my coaching clients. And we're going to talk about making an oil change, guys, because when you have
I like that. Oil change. That's
what
good.
I tell people. Your body needs fats to make cells.
Yeah.
Your body can't make healthy cells unless it has healthy fats. When the fats we get from our environment are unhealthy fats, you're going to make unhealthy cell membranes.
No
and
doubt
then
about it.
they're going to be hard to get nutrients in and nutrients out. So let's go over that article, from Bulletproof Executive that's kind of reviews
let's just first tell people how to make the thing.
Perfect.
So let's just start with that. You start with 1 cup of coffee, 8 ounces. I personally use espresso because I like that. And
I use a coffee from Premier Research Labs, which is very low roasted. Trying to keep more because we've talked about the fact that there's a lot of antioxidants in coffee.
Yes.
Okay.
And
low
then,
pesticide.
Yeah, you measure 2.5. I use 3 tablespoons of freshly ground. And he, of course, the Bulletproof Executive is pushing Bulletproof Coffee. He has excellent coffee, so definitely have to try his too. It's a little more expensive, but you get what you pay for. So you brew your favorite way of brewing. and then you pour 1 tablespoon, and you kind of build up to 2 tablespoons of MCT oil. You go to about 1 ounce, which is about 1 tablespoon of grass-fed butter, or you can go up to 2 tablespoons, which is what I do.
Right.
And then you put it in a blender for 20, 30 seconds.
Right.
And then you come up with a real nice Frappuccino, and if you want to sweeten it up, I usually in the morning I take it straight, and then in the afternoon I like a little more sweetness to it.
Maybe add some raw honey.
And then I put a little raw honey in it.
And I add a stevia that I like.
Yes.
Yeah,
So that's how you make it. Now what it does for you, it really makes you alert, first of all, because the coffee gives you a boost. But what sustains you is the fat. And the MCT oil, of course, is medium chain triglycerides, which is the best part of the coconut oil.
Exactly.
And it really doesn't even go into your digestive system. It goes right into your bloodstream.
Goes into your bloodstream and starts being used to make healthy cell membranes.
Exactly.
You know, we've already shared with everyone here the research, all the pharmaceutical companies who are looking for a cure, which we know they don't look for a cure, but a drug to sell to treat Alzheimer's, is a MCT-based oil. And the medical doctor showed that. So what a great way to start getting, immediately getting this. Yeah.
And if you're going to start this program, start off with a lower dose, 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 tablespoon of MCT oil, and then as you go through it and get used to it, maybe over a week or 2, you can kind of get up to the 2 if you want. I like the more fat into it. For me, it makes sense, and it gives you lots of energy. And of course, it brings you in the fat-burning zone, which we want to be in a fat-burning zone 24 hours a day, really. Correct. The only time I want to get out of it is when I need sugar as an extra rocket fuel when I'm doing something really high exertion.
Right, and let's don't take away the fact that, we've talked about the MCT oil, the power of butter. Butter or ghee, the fat-soluble vitamins A and D in their available form, the vitamin K that comes from grass-fed. So again, we're starting our day with the healthy oil change. We're giving our body fats that sustain us, and completely opposite of what most people, think of. Coffee drinking causing a jittery inability to focus, you get the complete opposite.
It smooths it all out, high energy, you feel so good, and you don't get hungry for 4, 5, 6 hours.
Exactly.
In fact, I find myself not eating and thinking, boy, I better eat something. Now, of course, for the last 50 years, folks, people have been telling us to eat a non-fat diet or a really low-fat diet, and this is the problem you run into when you start talking to your friends about this, and they go, "Oh my God,
I can't have that fat.
I can't have that fat." But the fat that you don't want is the vegetable oils, the seed oils. Those are the ones that they've been selling us. Even cottonseed oil, the Crisco that they introduced just after World War II. And it seems like World War II is the kind of turning point when we went to really manufactured foods.
Do you know, I read this, and I'm going to quote this without having a resource right now, but that's the way I am. I'm a ferocious reader of information. I was reading the other night, and do you know how many heart attacks were recorded before 1900?
Fewer than now.
1.
Really?
And the gentleman who created the electrocardiogram went to Harvard and said, "Look at this thing," and the guy said, "Why are you going to produce a device like that? There's no business. There's nothing wrong with, we don't have heart disease."
Wow.
So can you imagine that being said today?
That is something else, I'm telling you. That's
okay, so we're looking at ways to get healthy fats because the health of the body is determined by healthy cell membranes, and healthy cell membranes are made by healthy fats, and the saturated fats are where it's at.
Yeah. And what I find when people are switching over to the primal type diet, they tend to not add enough fat into it. So, I mean, it's critical. It's also, you have to do it slowly because some people are going to kind of rebound. The healthier you are, the easier it is to switch over. So if you're overweight, if you've been on a starchy diet or a grain-based diet for many, many years, you really have to slow down.
You do. You have to do it at a graduated speed.
And you may even have to add a few enzymes in there that would be like the hydrochloric acid, maybe going along with the fat to help you metabolize this.
Right, and getting the good bile flow. We don't need any beef jerky, what we call beef jerky bile. Right. And that's when, our bile is what helps us emulsify. Think of bile as soap. So, your food leaves the stomach. The food leaves the stomach. It's a very acidic environment, unless, of course, you're like the majority of Americans that are living off a proton pump inhibitors, and you're diluting your stomach acid, which is a no-no. What you want to do is when that food leaves the stomach in a timely fashion, immediately the liver gallbladder swishes out the bile. The bile is like an emulsifier, allowing you to further digest your food, break down the fat, so you can then in the small intestine absorb the fat-soluble nutrients.
Yes.
So that's a big part of what I do, is try and make sure people are stimulating good bile function and getting that liver gallbladder. And even if you've had your gallbladder taken out, we need to make sure we time your fat-soluble nutrients. You know, having your bulletproof coffee, or your Tiger Brew as we like to call it here, you know, in the morning, the hours that your liver produces the optimal amount of bile is between 10 and 2. So with my people, I work with them to try and get their more difficult to digest, you know, protein, fat meals in at breakfast and lunch.
Yeah. In the chat room, Jay is saying that I tried butter in my whiskey last night. It goes down so easy. Just looks like a little funny with the butter cubes in my drink. Hey, I'm going to try that.
Yeah, but you know what? Why not put it in the blender?
Yeah, hey, that's a great idea, Jay.
Yeah, heat it up next time, or put it in the blender.
Yeah. So just realize that butter is a healthy food. Coconut oil is, and
you know, we are not in any ways not trying to recommend, you know, high photochemical drinks. You all know, you've probably heard me talk about having a terrific tonic and a super smoothie. And your Tiger Brew, and if you do that and you eat healthy, things are going to get good. Yeah. Folks, the number here is 877-927-6648. The key to this whole thing is buying really high-quality coffee. I would say maybe go to... High-quality butter. And, of course, the Kerrygold butter, unless you know a farmer that's already producing this type of thing. And MCT oil, you want to get pharmaceutical grade. And also the Bulletproof executive, has some upgraded... You know, he does interesting things with his the supplements and everything that he does. He upgrades them by hacking them, and by hacking them, he means he takes out any negative ingredients that are in there. He does that with his coffee. He does that with the MCT oil. Brain Octane is another MCT oil that he uses. And so he's got many supplements that he's hacked that are really powerful, and they really work. I've tried many of them. They're a little bit more expensive, but I find that it's going to be worth it, because I'm kind of doing away with some of the vitamins that I've been taking. Well, that's the whole premise of some of your research labs. Yes. You know, plumbers do plumbing, as we know, and electricians do this and that, and they do electrical work. Well, Premier Research Lab, we are studying the human biofield. And as we'll talk when we come back, we've got a great article, Dr. Wayne Dyer, talking about who we really are. Are we really these bodies, or are we in fact something bigger? And I tell you, we are. We are the human biofield, and that's the all-powerful biofield. How do we get it to work? We get it to work with pure ingredients, and we get that with the products that we share with you. We don't tell you anything that's not great for you. It's not things that we wouldn't take ourselves. There's no doubt about that. Folks, there's also a new newsletter coming out to you, the new Health Signals newsletter, issue 2. So please pick that up on the site at subscribe,
TFNN.com.
get involved. We've got great links in the newsletter. You can be a part of our group, and let us know what's on your mind. And also give us a call, 877-927-6648. You can talk to Nico and Paige right here, right now. So we'll be back in a couple minutes. See you after the break. Yep.
You've heard Nico de Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor, Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
Who says you can't take it with you? TFNN says you can. With your mobile device and TFNN's live radio streams, TFNN has put it all in the palm of your hands. No special apps to download. No subscription fees for live radio or Tiger TV streams. We say you can.
Now let's go over to the dollar, because the dollar is going to be the generator. It is the generator of basically higher dollar, lower market. And what the dollar has done, and this whole uptrend, folks, has just gone sideways. The way it works, folks, is this.
We say you can. The Tiger Financial News Network. Smart investors and professional traders know you can. TFNN.com. Educating investors. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back, folks. Nico and Paige here on Living a Primal Lifestyle. And, of course, my new Health Signals newsletter, number 2 for the year, is out. And we start off by talking about, what we talked really about last week, is why your grandparents didn't have any food allergies. And I wanted to put this into the newsletter because it really comes up with some really good points about them eating seasonally, they didn't diet, blah, 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 lots of things they did differently. And why did we change this? Mostly because of the people that advertise stuff and were brainwashed into doing different things.
And I know we're quickly going over that, but something just popped in my head because I had clients in my office this week. And, since I always like to take this from the biofield standpoint of why we have food allergies, so let me explain to you this. And I'm going to say it, and I apologize if I've said it again, but I want you to open and expand your mind a little bit. Mm-hmm. When we see someone who has an allergy to strawberries, is the reason they have an allergy to the strawberries because they're allergic to the strawberries, or is it because the strawberry just happens to be the most highly sprayed product in the world? 500 different pesticides go into a conventional strawberry. Is it the toxic exposure that the strawberry had, and that if you actually tested someone with a real strawberry that was organically grown, they wouldn't have that problem? But let's take it a step further. What if that child was eating strawberries when they were 2, 3 years old, and maybe mommy and daddy had a very traumatic exchange, maybe even it got physical? They have no recollection. We may not have recollection of this, but the subconscious mind...
Tied to the food.
ties to the food.
Yep.
So what we do, people that work with me, we really explore and get down through biofeedback. I can do a lot of this remotely.
Yep.
I can do a lot of this in what is the real cause of food allergies. So keep that in mind, that I believe a lot of it's toxic emotion and toxic chemicals.
I agree with you. There's a lot of things in our environment, and there's a lot of things that happen to us as a child that just carries over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And
the biofield holds everything.
Yeah.
And it holds the emotions, both positive and toxic emotions, the cellular memory. And our cells are water, and the water holds the memory.
Okay, so the next thing, 5 clues you are addicted to sugar, a great article that goes pretty much in depth about it and has some nice links to it. This is a nice article. I like the graphic.
Yeah, I'm sure
10
you did.
health benefits of sex that you need to know, and it's got a little clip in here that you can go to. And
ultimate health benefits of sexual intercourse.
Yeah, and there's a lot of benefits to that, too.
And that's a primal thing, guys.
It's the most primal thing there is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 5 things everyone gets wrong about the paleo or primal diet. And this is a step-by-step program, so if you're talking to people about the paleo diet, then you're really...
You've got a few points you can come back and say, well, this is what we know.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And this was written by Chris Kressler, so I really respect that guy, and he's
jot that name down. I'm telling you guys, this guy has it going on, Chris Kressler.
Well, we have so many great sources now for primal living.
The collective mind.
Here's an article about the dark side of kale and how to eat around it. It's not so much about kale, but it's more about eating seasonally and not eating something all the time.
That's right. Nature had her own wisdom, and we grow certain vegetables at certain times of the year. So always use the template of a seasonal diet. But I want you to be aware, a lot of these deep leafy vegetables, particularly like spinach. I have a lot of people that say, oh, I have a spinach and blueberry smoothie. You guys know I like a high phytochemical smoothie. I like us breaking these fibers down in these plants, because remember, the animals do that for us, but when the animals aren't around to do it for us, a high phytochemical smoothie blender, like a Blendtec or a
this is really how we get our carbohydrates also.
Well, yes, and these spinach guys can be high in oxalic acid. You also know that the cruciferous vegetables raw doesn't really taste good anyways in a smoothie, but the cruciferous vegetables are much more healthful lightly cooked. Because it removes the gordogenic things. So those are just some tips.
Yep.
And that article has some good information.
Yep.
We're not knocking kale. Love kale.
No, I love kale too. 5 traditional foods that everybody should be eating for exceptional health. It goes through
Sounds
a lot
like Paige.
Yeah,
what does
exactly.
it start with? Fermented cod liver oil, sourdough bread, if in fact you are going to have bread.
And I got a link here to the best cod liver oil, fermented
and
cod liver oil.
that's we're going to be able to probably get that through our group, and you guys can support us, because I do have an account with Green Pastures.
Next thing, the dangers of drinking diet soda. We've gone over this before, some new insights on it, so you need to do that. Multiple infant vaccinations are linked to dramatically increased mortality. We're going to talk about this a little bit more because...
Well, this is really kind of close to my heart right now, guys, because, with my first grandbaby coming, I vaccinated all my children. I did everything they said, and I feel so blessed that, I haven't experienced any of the issues that are associated that we're seeing now. But keep in mind, 20 years ago, the shot volume was less than half of what it is today. And I'm trying very hard to be accepting of what my daughter's, decisions, and her significant other, what their decisions are with vaccinating this baby. But I'm going to be reading it. I'm going to be sharing it. I'm going to be really trying to vet out where's the right way to go.
And before we go on the break, in the spotlight is Adam's calendar. That's Michael Tellinger. We talked last week about the ancient civilizations and free energy. It's really an hour-and-a-half program that you need to watch. So we'll discuss a little bit.
It's the links in the newsletter. So get the newsletter and you see what we saw.
877-927-6648. We'll be right back.
With over 3 decades of trading experience, Andy Hecht brings a tremendous amount of knowledge and expertise to each weekly issue of his newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report. The Technomental Commodity Report gives you Andy's unique technomental analysis of the commodities market, a combination of technicals and fundamental analysis which he has developed and perfected over his many years of trading. The Technomental Commodity Report is only $49 a month, and right now you can get a full month-long trial subscription while paying absolutely nothing. See for yourself the kind of weekly report Andy delivers to his subscribers every Thursday morning. You'll receive specific stock, ETF, and option trades based on Andy's analysis, so no futures account is required. For all the details and to start your month-long free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, visit TFNN.com today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by BackTech Environmental. For more information, just click the BackTech banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And welcome back, Tigers and Tigresses, where we're living a primal lifestyle. We're talking about your health, and we've been chatting in the room a little bit about vaccines. I mentioned to you that I am not a real supporter of vaccinations. I mean, I had them myself. I vaccinated my children, but I'm really looking at the research, and the research is telling me that there's that the toxic consequences are oftentimes worse than what the protection they might afford. And I mentioned on Facebook, I don't think we did it here, big article came out last week about the past editor-in-chief of the New England Journal of Medicine. Again, this is the age of exposure. The truth is coming out. People's hearts are opening, and they want to tell the truth. Yep. And she said she would not trust any of the research published in the New England Journal of Medicine. And this is something for anyone who has a medical background, this is quite shocking. Yeah. Or I don't want to misquote. Maybe she didn't say she wouldn't trust any, but much of the research is industry funded and not non-biased and is not in our best interest.
And that's the biggest problem we have with GMOs and these shots and things like that. Of course,
we have
big
to look
push
at the
right now with the flu season. And believe me, a lot of people are having the flu now. It's going through our dojo. It's going through the schools.
I wonder how many of them were actually vaccinated.
Well, I don't really care, you know, because I'm not getting the flu. I haven't got the flu for 5 years. I'm not getting a cold. These are indications that you're really not well. If you get the flu, if you get colds, if you get allergies, if you've got some problems with skin, these things are indications that you're eating the wrong type of diet.
You are not supporting your immune system, and your immune system is saying, I'm overloaded and I'm going to detox. Guys, a cold and a flu is a detox. The body is a beautiful system, and it has an innate wisdom that it's time to get rid of this stuff. You've heard me over and over again. You know, what do? We get diarrhea, and then we take Imodal or whatever that Lamotrin, or so I don't even know what the name of the drug is. We take it to stop ourselves up. Not wise.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure. And in the chat room, they were mentioning about shingles shots, and are shingle shots safe? Well, there are reactions that you can get from shingle shots, but let's talk about the reasons that shingles now is sticking its head out everywhere, because this is something that before World War II. Very seldom did anybody get shingles, and it's directly related how we live today, because now we are segregating our population. You know, our old people live in one area, the young people are living in one area, everything is segregated, and chickenpox is directly related to the shingles.
Right.
If you get if you've got chickenpox and you are going into a place where children have chickenpox, you get a natural booster. If you've had chickenpox in the past, you get the natural booster.
So
from
when the
exposure
great-grandparent and the grandparent was taking the grandchild on the lap, and you were living in a tribal environment, we were seeing this natural immunity building.
Exactly. So the natural immunity is very important, and you're not getting it because we're all segregating, and we're staying away. So if you get shingles now, it's because you haven't been exposed to the chickenpox virus, and it can be very painful, but you know, the reason we're not being exposed too much, too, is not that the children aren't getting it so much, and that's one of the reasons, actually, is because we have shots for that.
Right.
So now we're, instead of this mild disease that really very rarely results in something serious, that we're getting shots for, and then all of a sudden now we don't get exposure to it, so now later on we get something much worse, which is shingles.
So we're inoculating ourselves with toxic vaccines, with all these excipients and embryonic cells and all of this crazy adjuvants and that toxic heavy metal against diseases that are oftentimes self-limiting. And that's exactly what, you know, it might be worthwhile to throw this into the next newsletter, you know, because a lot of people, and I'm sorry, we got Bill Gates' face up there, and I struggle because a lot of people, you know, feel he's
voodoo right there.
Yeah, he feels, you know, a lot of people feel that he's a planetary humanitarian. I don't agree. You know, he did some great stuff for the computer world, but I don't believe that a lot of the stuff that's going on with these studies are in our best interests.
Well, one of the biggest things in this article that you're mentioning with Bill Gates is that they're talking about mandatory injections.
And I want to remind all of you, and I want to remind all of you that go Google Bill Gates' big plunder on the TED Talks, where he made the comment that if we are lucky and we increase our vaccinations and clean water initiatives, blah, 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 we will see a population reduction of 10 to 15% over the next 10 years. Well, vaccination and population reduction doesn't sound to me like they are congruent. Right?
Yeah, I mean, exactly right.
And, you know, one of the things we saw in this article is that they're not taking into account the fact that many of the childhood diseases that we're pushing these vaccinations on were already on their way out. And that we're now seeing that the populations that are coming up, you know, the big epidemic of whooping cough in California is actually the population that's experiencing this are the people that are vaccinated. Like so many of the people I've seen that said, I went and got the flu shot. And guess what? I got the flu. Well, they say, oh, I got body aches, my nose, I had a fever. Oh, that sounds to me like the flu. Yeah.
And Jay is asking, but if you have chickenpox as a child, I understand you can get shingles later in life. It's possible, not necessarily so, but if you are exposed to the chickenpox, I mean, once you get chickenpox, you're not going to get chickenpox again.
Right.
Okay, so if you know somebody that has chickenpox, go visit them and get that natural booster shot, and you won't need the injections, and that's really the answer right there. Now, one of the things I just thought of is a couple of years ago, sitting in the dojo, and my professor, Eduardo de Lima, was sitting there talking, and he said, you know, my daughter got the flu today. He says, I'm going home and exposing myself to that flu because I want my natural immune system to take over. And this is what he does. And this is, when I think this was not 2 years ago, this might have been 5 or 6 years ago when I first started. And that stuck in my head because we want the natural immune system to take over.
We don't need mercury and aluminum and, exactly. creatures' eggs and different body parts injected into our tissue. That's my feeling.
Yeah.
But guys...
So let's go back to Bill Gates.
Yes. Okay. So... I think we might want to throw this in the news. I think this is important information. But
I'm going to put it in there.
Okay, good. Yeah, put it into next week's newsletter. But, really what's happening is there's a real push to convince the world that the world needs to be vaccinated. And we want you to understand that these studies, just as the editor-in-chief for 20 years came clean and said, this is not truth, folks. This is slanted. There is a ulterior motive in the information that's being provided. And I want you guys to read this. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, there was another article that you were talking about for Dr. Wayne Dwyer.
Yes.
And I love this guy, by the way.
Yes, I do love Dr. Wayne Dwyer.
And he's really talking about something that is really the center of living a primal lifestyle, I feel.
It is, too. And that's realizing that we truly are a being that is past this physical body, that I like to say, this is our tool to experience life while we're here, but the body is so much more. And for a moment, let's imagine what it would be. And it's really about learning to unclutter our lives and to simplify life. It really speaks to me because I found that many times things, so much clutter, and I actually mean physical things that I used to think were really valuable. I need to have this picture or this lamp or this little knick-knack, and now they just look like dust bugs. They're just collecting, and they're interfering with, they're clogging the universe from allowing more things to come in. So yes. This article talks about making space to let new things come in.
That's really so important. I remember my dad, every year for the spring cleaning, he would say, okay, our goal is to fill up these boxes with stuff we haven't used. Clothes, if you haven't worn the clothes and it's in season, and you haven't worn it this season, let's give it to somebody else.
That is something that I, have never been able to do, and I have a closet full of things that...
Well, you're a woman.
Well, I'm a woman, and I really haven't changed that much, give or take 10 pounds or so, over a year, so I tend to hold on to things.
Yeah.
And, I wonder how much of that might be related to maybe at some previous existence, maybe I had a sense of lack. And I was, and this time I'm afraid to let go, but I'm really working on that. But, can we just hit on a few of these?
Well, let me just interject, because this morning, and before I forget it, because otherwise, when it's gone, it's gone. And this morning I read in the paper about this couple who have this RV, and they have 12 children. Okay, so great. 12 children, and they sleep in the RV. And because they go and they are very big into outside sports, so they canoe and kayak and surf and do all kinds of things. And the kids are from like 2.5 years old all the way up to teenagers. And so this was about 2 years ago when they started this whole thing. And then one of the kids says, they were driving home, and he says, "Why do we have to go home? Why don't we just stay on the road?" And the parent says, "Okay." So I don't know where the income is coming from.
That's very Sudbury thinking, very
yeah, exactly. So,
hey,
so they've been on the road.
If we never went home.
Exactly. And they did that, and the cool thing is they've been on the road for 1.5 years, and right now they're in Florida, and that's why they were writing about this. But there's just enough room in this RV to sleep, the 14 people. Very crowded. But they say, well, where do you live? We live outdoors. How cool is that?
I love that.
And
Become an outsider.
Yeah, and we bring these kids, to so much activities because we want them to really be restful at night, and they're dead at night, man. But they're homeschooled.
They probably build a campfire, and then they all go in.
Yeah, and when it's nice outside, they're going to sleep outside, and they love this. And these kids are just passionate about what they're doing. So I think it's one of the coolest things, and it really relates to what Dr. Dwyer is.
Yeah, I'm sure just because they're in Florida, we got to featuring them in the Florida paper, but I'm sure you guys could Google, the family of 12 living in an RV.
Well, I'm going to look it up and see if I can put it in next week's newsletter.
Yeah, maybe we can follow them a little bit.
Hey, that would be cool.
I think so.
Maybe they have a Twitter
Maybe we should try to call them and see if they want to talk to us.
Hey.
That could be neat, too.
Okay, mark it down.
So getting back to that, let's talk a little bit about, we're just going to highlight this because I would like you to think about it. Dr. Dwyer has 12 steps for simplifying your life, and you can get the detail. We'll put it in the newsletter, but unclutter your life, you know. You'll find much more inspiration when you get rid of things, you know.
So what are some of the things that he says that we're going to, you know, what are the things that we want to unclutter?
I mean, it can be toys, tools, bicycles, dishes. I mean, you know, if you don't use it, get rid of it.
Okay.
And see some space.
How about TV?
Well, I think that would be without said. You know, my TV's broken, my main TV.
Is it?
My kids like their TVs, but I pretty much spend my time on the internet reading stuff for this show.
You know, yesterday I got my teeth cleaned, and the girl who usually cleans my teeth, Farah, she's gone. So she left. I don't know what happened to her. I thought, oh, geez, you know, now I have to, somebody else, I have to break them in, you know, kind of like. So this girl comes, and she's a very attractive girl, and she's chatty. We're talking, and she's talking about, she said, have you ever heard? And she saw my jacket, so it said Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She said, you do Jiu-Jitsu? I said, yeah. She says, how do you stay, you know, at your age, how do you stay so active? I told her, well, I'm on a special diet. And she says, you know, my mother's been on this paleo diet. She says, what do you think of that?
I so she couldn't already clean your teeth because you were going like this.
I was talking away, and of course I gave her my card and stuff, but she really, it was neat. But she says, you know, your teeth are really clean. I hardly have to do anything. I says, well, I do oil pulling. She says, oh, oil pulling. She says, I've heard of that. Now, this is one of the first technicians that I know that
I went to my dentist and said something, and even though they're a holistic dentist, didn't know what it was.
No, and most of them don't. And she says the one thing she noticed, the couple of clients that do that, is how real pink the blood goes right into the gums, and the gums are so healthy.
Well, because remember, the oils, they're, you know, absorbing the tiny viruses, bacteria, nanobacteria. So. Yeah.
Very cool. So where were we?
Well, anyways, so we were just kind of going over some of these tips that, you know, we learned, you know, getting rid of the clutter. And, you know, anything that keeps you mired in acquisitions contributes to clutter. Yeah. And that's mind clutter, body clutter, everything.
And I think once a year you need to really do something like this. I mean, I know a lot of my neighbors, you open the garage up, and the garage is just filled. You can't put your car in there. And I have a shed, and my shed a couple of years ago was like that, you know. And I had somebody else. I didn't even want to go in there. I had somebody else clean the darn thing. Here, I'll pay you $50, clean out my shed. Guy did a wonderful job. And since then, everything's in order. Yeah, I do have some stuff I could still throw out, and that's another project for the future.
Well, I have a tendency to gather some junk. One of my little hobbies, I really like to find something and turn it into something else, or refinish it, or repaint it, or I've been known to find stuff that someone's trash becomes my treasure. But what I've also found is sometimes I gather things that are, you know, someone's trash, and I think it's going to be my treasure, and I look, and 5 years later it's still sitting there with the idea. So either take action and do something, but, you know, even beyond things, clear your calendar of unwanted and unnecessary activities and obligations. You know, a lot of us
put some good activities in there.
Right, like maybe being an outsider, like this family was doing. Become an outsider.
I was really
inspired
with that.
Become an outsider. Yeah. Maybe we should. That's what those kids should be wearing. But you know, many of us are filling our time with things that we think make us look good to other people, and we're really not from the spirit doing it. You know, we think we're supposed to do it.
No doubt about it. We're brainwashed into that for sure. Especially women. Women have it worse than the men do.
Yeah, because
you guys are born with a mirror in your pocket.
And you know, the other thing is take time for meditation and yoga. You know, and you know we need to connect with the earth, connect with nature and spirit. And, you know, watch our new show with Allie and Tom.
Oh,
you know,
great show. I love the show.
Living a mindful living. Yep. So, but we think being primal is mindful. It's getting back to first things first. So.
Take time for yourself. My wife is going away today, and she's going to be gone overnight. And one of the blessings of that is that I have some time for myself. And I think that's important. I love her dearly. And when she comes back, I'm going to be very happy.
But you're going to get recharged.
I'm going to get recharged, and that's what it's all about. So stick around, folks. 877-927-6648. Paige and I will be right back.
See you shortly. Okay.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to the Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different futures contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now you can receive a 2-week free trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the Signal Box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's trading newsletter.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
Up next, the Diagnostics Trading Hour with Terrell Martin here on TFNN.
And welcome back, everybody. And, we were just talking about recharging and connecting nature. Mm-hmm. And if you can, I don't know if you can put that up.
No, I can't. It's not in the right form.
Okay. Well, anyways, many of you, we've talked about grounding. And I started thinking, I had a call from somebody who wanted to consult. And I thought about you guys. And I know a lot of you are up north where it's cold. And I have a product that I can provide to you all called the Earth Wrap. And the Earth Wrap is state-of-the-art in terms of getting solar energy or connecting kind of with getting the full spectrum of infrared light and also getting negative ions like we would get if we were grounding every day. Right. I started thinking about a lot of you guys sitting in your chairs and trading. And if you're interested in the Earth Wrap, we're going to put a little information, I think, maybe in the newsletter next time. But let's talk a little bit about what are some of the benefits because when you're sitting next to this technology equipment and you're not getting out, it's cold.
It's also electronic, so there's a lot of...
There's no EMFs in it, though. Oh. It's been neutralized.
No, I'm talking about when we're working in front of our computers and our cell phones, and everything's electronic. We got lights all around us, and there's all kinds of ions and stuff going around, and what we're trying to do is kind of combat that. And
exactly.
This is how the grounding, what you're talking about, the earth wrap, this will help.
This will help. This not only has grounding capabilities, but it has full infrared. So there's two different things: the negative electrons,
and the far infrared,
and the full spectrum of far infrared, which is what we get in sunlight. There's different spectrums. So, in a nutshell, we've got this. We're working on a bundle. So I think next month. Let's tell you, if you're interested about getting one, imagine having something the size of a heating pad. It's like 14 by 20, so it could easily be connected to your chair while you're sitting at the computer, warming you up. I sleep with one.
Okay.
Now, even on a on a not so cold night, I don't even turn on the heating function, but as long as it's on, I'm getting the infrared without the heat. But utilizes rose granite and it's been tested by Dr. Marshall and is energetically superior to all other mediums.
Okay.
In my office, I have a biomat. It's an amethyst bed, and it's part of the healing treatments that people enjoy, the self-treatments they come in and lay down. But the far infrared heat penetrates deep into the tissues,
no doubt about it.
And it stimulates the water molecules, and the vibrational resonance pushes out toxins stored in fat cells. Okay?
Yeah.
So you're hearing what I'm saying, that when the cells vibrate, they can start to do their housekeeping.
Well, I have this big mat that has jade.
And I know exactly who makes that, and that's good.
Yeah, it's a great one.
This is the best.
This is the best.
This is the best.
So this is a step up.
Yes, great source of negative...
And I'll tell you, the jade was, those things were like $1,000 or something like that.
Oh, they are. And this one, the full-size one, is that, maybe even a little more.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you it's great. But I'm telling people, I think I can get you one around $200.
Really?
And it'll be for the chair, and even for small people like me, you can move it a little bit, but it heats the whole body.
Yeah, I mean, once you put it in your lumbar area, that's enough. You don't have to move it around, really.
Sacral to cervical, really.
Exactly.
It's a great source of negative ions that are believed to produce biochemical reactions that increase levels of serotonin, elevating your mood, helping to alleviate depression. Some of you may be having that SAD, the lack of solar energy, which is responsible for seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, also known as the sad American diet.
Yeah, and being in front of tubes all day, folks, is not good for you. Being on the cell phone all the time. So we're using computers, and they're great, but there's a lot of negative things that can happen, and this can help alleviate some of those problems.
So we're going to put in the newsletter next time. If you're a newsletter subscriber, you're going to get the info sheet on the earth wrap.
We'll talk about it a little next week. I'll do a little more digging so I can at least show it on Tiger TV so you can see it.
Absolutely. Well,
yeah, boy, the time has flown here.
We thank you all. I hope you have a great week. Cross your fingers on my little grandbaby. I'm excited. I get to be there. She's having her baby. She's having a water birth at a natural birthing center. So send us your wishes and prayers for a nice, safe delivery.
We'll see you next week, folks.
Thanks a lot. See you later.
Told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.